It was meant to be business as usual in Parliament, a day of debates, passionate speeches, and the customary grandstanding that South Africans have come to expect from their politicians. Instead, what happened was nothing less than a political earthquake, an event which has now become etched into the country's memory. Last Thursday saw a shocking turn of events as Deputy President Paul Mashatile was physically removed from Parliament after an explosive confrontation that stunned both ANC loyalists and opposition. Never before in recent times has a sitting deputy president been dragged out of session under such humiliating circumstances. The chamber gasped, cameras rolled, and a single chaotic moment shifted the trajectory of South Africa's politics. The ANC, having already been shaken by scandal, corruption claims, and a disintegrating public image, entered the session of this week with delicate nerves. Factions inside the ruling party are hanging by a thread. Whispers of insider sabotage are growing louder and leadership fights are spilling over into the public sphere. Mashatile entered the chamber like a besieged man, shoulders tense, jaw clenched, eyes glaring at the opposition benches. He knew the questions were coming. What no one expected, however, was just how spectacularly he would implode. As queries started flying on corruption allegations, procurement irregularities, and breakdowns in service delivery, Mashatile's cool crumbled almost right away. He resolutely declined direct responses. He snapped back with condescending rejoinders, attacking opposition legislators for playing cheap politics and grandstanding before the cameras. His voice was acerbic, his language poisonous, and before long the chamber erupted into pandemonium. Shouts rose from the DA benches. EFFs jumped to their feet calling for accountability. The speaker tried to re-establish order, calling on the deputy president to calm his words, but Mashatile just became increasingly belligerent. He pointed fingers at MPs, scoffed at their credibility, and laughed at their questions. His answers were not those of a statesman. They were the enraged rantings of a man trapped. For everyone who watched, it was a heart-wrenching plummet from grace. Once celebrated as the guy who would someday replace President Ramaphosa, Mashatile was now disintegrating on national television. As the standoff grew more heated, opposition MPs hollowed him down. Answer the question, they bellowed. Accountability, they cried out. But Mashatile would not give up the floor. His voice became more boisterous, his tone more confrontational. The speaker made several warnings, each of which was disregarded. Eventually, in a dramatic and unusual step, the speaker exercised disciplinary powers and summoned parliamentary protection services. The nation took its collective breath. Would the deputy president, the individual second only to the president himself, accept the order? The response was immediate. No. When security approached, Mashatile is said to have tried to resist, refusing to stand up. He argued with officers, shouted at the speaker, and declared he had every right to stay. The chamber lay silent in stunned disbelief for a brief moment. It was as if it was impossible. How could the Deputy President of South Africa refuse to obey parliamentary rules? But disbelief soon gave way to chaos. Security moved in and, in full view of MPs and live television cameras, Mashatile was dragged from the chamber. The picture will not be forgotten. The deputy president physically dragged out, his power broken, his pride in tatters. Experts are already saying it is one of the most embarrassing moments in contemporary South African politics. For Mashatile, the loss is devastating. His reputation, already questioned by accusations of arrogance and distance from common South Africans, has been destroyed. Public trust, already waning for months, has come crashing down. Murmurs of disquiet have developed into a national outcry. Social media went wild in minutes with hashtags that question his fitness to lead across platforms. But most ominous is the silence of one individual, President Cyril Ramaphosa. As his deputy was hauled off, Ramaphosa remained still. No shock in the air, no effort to stop it, no attempt later to try to soothe public anger. His silence has already proved incendiary. Some believe it to be cowardice. Others believe it to be complicity. Was this Ramaphosa keeping his distance from Mashatile, or a sign of an even greater internal conflict in the ANC? Either way, the message sent to supporters and opponents alike in chilling tones was that the president was passive and the ANC frayed, paralyzed, and unable to govern with authority. Party members are in a state of panic. There are said to be emergency sessions, angry debates behind the scenes as to what happens next. Some call for disciplinary action to be taken against Mashatile. Others are concerned that would divide the party even more. One insider said, "This is not just about Paul. This is about the whole ANC project collapsing before people's eyes." Opposition leaders did not wait to capitalize on the moment. DA's John Steinheisen called it a disgraceful moment in our democratic history and said it finally confirmed the ANC had lost all its moral ground. The EFF was more scathing, calling it the ultimate symbol of the rot, arrogance, and illegitimacy of the ANC. Smaller parties seconded the opinion, saying that South Africa now risked instability as its governing party collapses. And with elections around the corner, the timing couldn't be worse. The opposition has been given a gold mine of a weapon, an indelible photo of the governing party eating itself alive. That photo will haunt them in campaign commercials, speeches, and debates for years to come. For the ANC, things could not be more serious. Its reputation is in shambles. Its harmony is in pieces. Its leadership is frozen, and now its deputy president has been embarrassed in the most humiliating manner imaginable. The real question now is straightforward: can the ANC weather this? Or is this what South Africans will in hindsight regard as the start of the end for the party that once bore the country's hopes? To ordinary citizens, Mashatile's humiliation is more than political theatre. It is symbolic of their own frustrations. Those who are suffering from unemployment, poverty, and failed services look in this pandemonium a reflection of their own plight. If the bosses at the top cannot even rule themselves with decorum, how can they ever rule the nation? South Africa is heading into treacherous waters, a deputy president shamed, a president mute, a governing party in shambles, and an opposition waiting for the knockout blow. The political terrain has been altered overnight, and all will forever remain altered. Smash that subscribe button now and hit the notification bell so you never miss a second of this developing story.